My name is Carol White, and I'm the Senior Curator of Antiquities at the Getty Villa. John Paul Getty was a man whose business was in oil. He had oil wells scattered around the globe, which is where most of his wealth came from. John Paul Getty collected art for many years for his own enjoyment, but at a certain point in the late 1950s and early 1960s, he decided to share his collection with the public. So he formed the museum, he created a small board of trustees, and he made the collections available here at the Getty Villa site in another structure, a house that was on the property when he purchased it in the 1940s. But at a certain point, the collections outgrew the space available in the Ranch House Museum, and so he decided to actually construct a new museum, one that was big enough to house the collection, allow for expansion, and certainly to allow many more visitors to come onto the property and enjoy his collection. When John Paul Getty decided to construct the museum here, he was living in England at Sutton Place, and he was actually afraid to fly, so he rarely left the continent. He rarely left England, and he never returned to the United States. So he watched this museum being built through 8mm films and through photographs and through frequent meetings with his architect. But he never saw the completed museum. He died a few years after it opened to the public. At the moment, the collections that are housed at the Getty Villa are the Antiquities. These are the works from Greece, Rome, and ancient Etruria. Originally, when this museum was built, it housed all of Mr. Getty's collections, so paintings, French furniture, decorative arts. But when the decision was made by the Board of Trustees to construct a new museum, the Getty Center in Brentwood, the decision was taken at that time to house only the Antiquities here in Malibu, on the original museum site. When you come to the Getty Villa, you may not be expecting what you encounter once you step out of your car and start walking towards the museum's entrance. The museum here is actually modeled after an ancient Roman villa, a house called the Villa dei Papiri that was destroyed by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in AD 79. Now, Mr. Getty, when he made the decision to design a museum that looked like this, was really thinking about his Antiquities collection and wanting to put it into an architectural environment that made sense for that part of the collection. One of the ways we've tried to make our collection here more accessible to the public, because we recognize that our visitors may or may not be familiar with ancient history and languages, was the decision we took to install the collection by themes. So when you walk into a gallery, you will see works collected to the same topic, whether that's ancient religion, heroes from ancient mythology, the everyday lives of women and children, or animals and antiquity. And in doing so, we really wanted our visitors to see these works not only from the eyes of us as modern people, but to understand what they meant in antiquity too, and hopefully to build a bridge between the past and the present, and to recognize that many of these works still speak to us today. As you walk through the museum, you'll see that some of the rooms are actually quite architecturally distinct, and the architecture and the design of those rooms are taken from existing houses that were excavated in Pompeii. One of the most unique is the Temple of Heracles, which houses one of the most famous statues in the Antiquities collection, a statue known as the Lansdowne Heracles. This was a piece that was one of the favorites of John Paul Getty. It was found outside of Rome in the mid-18th century, somewhere near the villa of the Emperor Hadrian, and John Paul Getty liked to think that he was actually reincarnated, that he was once Hadrian. And this influenced his collecting as well. On the second floor, we have two beautiful galleries that are the largest at the museum with skylights. One of these is called Men in Antiquity, and you can understand many of the roles that men played in ancient societies. Men were, as they were today, they were politicians, they were athletes, they were rulers, they were warriors, they were partygoers. All of these scenes can be found on the works of art in that gallery, and directly opposite is the gallery devoted to women and children in antiquity. And in antiquity, women were pretty much sequestered at home, and a lot of the works of art that display them reflect these habits, these domestic activities. And we also have a wonderful case with renditions of children being taught at school, or playing a game, or just wonderful little statuettes that depict chubby toddlers. Admission to the Getty Museum is always free. It is a wonderful place to visit. The gardens and the architecture are spectacular, and you see a fabulous collection of ancient Greek, Roman, and Etruscan art. The Getty Villa is open from Wednesday to Monday from 10 to 5. We're closed on Tuesdays. A reservation is required because we do have limited parking on the site. It's very easy to make a reservation. Simply visit the website, getty.edu, look for the information on making your visit, and pick your date.